How can you tell when someone is lying to you or telling the truth? Can you tell whether a person is comfortable with you when he or she says, "I like you"? How can you know whether they really mean it or not? Hi, my name is Dr. Aziz. I'm a psychology graduate of Cambridge University and also a medical doctor. In this video, I'll be covering the best-selling book, What Everybody is Saying, where ex-FBI agent Joe Navarro spills the secrets of kinesics, the science of analyzing body language and what people are really thinking. It's a fascinating read in just under 300 pages. But don't worry, you don't have to read it because I've done the hard work for you and will be presenting all the key points in the next 7 minutes. I'll be covering some of the relevant science first in jargon-free language, and then we'll quickly move on to the juicy practical parts of working out what people are really saying or hiding from you in some cases. The first key point Navarro points out is that body language is paramount in understanding people's real thoughts. 65% of all interpersonal communication is non-verbal. These include facial expressions, touching, body movements, and the volume and tone of our voices. The communication of humans is like a puzzle. The words uttered are one component of this puzzle, but each movement or non-movement forms a big part of any communication. In attempting to discern the truth, non-verbal cues are more reliable than words, since people are not always aware of the non-verbal signals they send. What this means in practical terms that the only place you may find the truth in some scenarios is in the body language. An example given is that of a murder suspect who refuses to confess. He might tell you a reasonable story of going on a walk at the time of the crime and turning right at a corner, but if you catch him turning his hand left whilst he says this is a pretty good reason to suspect he is lying. The body language here emphasizes the real direction. The limbic system or limbic brain refers to a small set of brain structures which regulate emotion and behavior. Often known as the honest brain, it is responsible for our survival and the famous flight or fight response to stressful situations. Crucially, the limbic brain is hardwired into our nervous system, so when it reacts to something, it sends signals to the rest of the body. Because the limbic brain reacts to all our senses and emotions instinctively and without respite, it is extremely difficult to disguise. In a nutshell, lying with our words is easy, lying with our body language is near impossible. So what are some real-life manifestations of this limbic flight or fight system? Two examples here. One is the freeze reaction, where someone freezes when caught doing something or confronted. The other is a modern-day manifestation of the fight response, which, rather than anything physical like our ancestors may have reacted, these days manifests in verbal reactions such as insults or sarcasm. So what happens when we lie? An interesting cascade of events takes place. A conflict in our physiology arises given that we know the truth but our words are saying something different. This triggers the limbic brain and may cause neurotransmitters such as adrenaline to be released, leading to an asynchrony of body language and speech. So how does this actually manifest in a person? Quivering is a key sign. Watch someone's hands when they are asked a difficult question and how they hold objects such as pens. Their hands may quiver and clamp down. Secondly, immediately after such stressful events, i.e. lying, the brain then enacts pacifying behaviors designed to calm the body down. So as a person is being interrogated and they lie, they may then touch their face or neck as pacifying behaviors. Legs and feet, the author really emphasizes these. They are the most revealing parts of our bodies. From a young age, we learn to try and conceal facial expressions. Don't make that face, many a parent and teacher have scolded children. So we try and train our faces to conceal our true intentions. So when trying to work out if someone is lying or not, rather than focus on someone's face, look down instead at their legs and feet. Long before humans could speak in a sophisticated manner, their legs were fully equipped to run away, and we still see that trait today. Feet movement is involuntary, brutally honest, and easy to analyze. Practical pointers here. Take note of your conversation partner's feet. If they are pointing away, that they can mean one of three things. They don't feel confident, they want to leave, or they are about to leave. Whichever it is, feet pointing away from you is a negative. Careful not to overanalyze crossed or uncrossed legs, as these can indicate both comfort or discomfort. Wiggling feet and a bounce are positive signs, as people often do this without realizing when they are happy. Hands and fingers are invariably involved in non-verbal expressions. Most people will know a pointing finger reflects hostility, while a thumbs up is universally recognized as a positive. The thumb position in relation to hands in pockets, on the other hand, is an interesting one. People who have or want to project a high social status can be seen with their thumbs sticking out of their pockets as a sign of confidence. Conversely, those people with low status and confidence tend to have their thumbs inside their pockets. Next time you watch two people shake hands, take note of what they do right after with their hands. This may give away their impressions of one another. Crossed arms are actually very common in public and not necessarily an indication of anything negative. Crossed arms whilst indoors, however, is almost always an indicator that there is a level of discomfort or negativity, particularly if coupled with gripping their arms tightly with their hands. Body language or voice tone that is out of sync with the words are signs that something is off. When we are honest, our body language naturally matches our speech. We use our hands when we argue, our eyes flash when we smile genuinely. When someone lies, on the other hand, during an interrogation, they will need extra time to construct their fictional story. Consequently, there will be slight delays in their speech and movement. For example, they may blink slower or move their arms more slowly. So what should you do if you think someone is lying? Crucially, never indicate that you know. Making the other subject uncomfortable can itself cause disruptions in normal body language. This will diminish your ability to analyze, since there is a significant overlap between body signs of situational discomfort and when lying. As mentioned earlier, human communication is a puzzle, and it's important to pull all the pieces of the puzzle together, from the spoken words to hand and feet reactions. In addition to having an understanding of baseline behavior for both the individual's personality and their culture, will put together a more complete picture of what they are trying, or not trying in some cases, to communicate. In summary, our limbic brain sends signals to our body that we are not aware of. This in turn causes involuntary movements, often revealing hidden truths. With practice and focus on an individual's body movements, in particular their hands, legs and feet, rather than their face, you'll develop a much better understanding of what people are really saying. Anyway, I hope you learned something useful and enjoyed this summary. If you want to keep learning about psychology and medicine, hit the like, subscribe and notifications button. Any suggestions, feel free to post below. Until next time, stay safe.